Hello everybody and welcome to another installment of the VTL, the Team League, where we have Team CSO going up against Team Cryptic. We have a lobby up where players are in and seems like everything's ready to go. Yeah. So as far as I know, CSO's had to give a map walk to, I think, the first game, as they weren't able to get a player in to play the very first slot. So Team Cryptic will be starting this tournament off with a 1-0 lead. But yeah, we seem to be pretty good. Seems like everything's ready to go. And yeah, our first map of the evening will be Oxide. And it seems as though we'll have a ZVZ to start us off. We're just trying to figure out what the first map is. Might not be Oxide. I think we have to remake the lobby. We seem to be in the wrong map, so while we get that up and ready for you. Yeah, my name's Linglad and I'll be the caster on behalf of CSO. Thanks for tuning in for this week's installment. Yeah, sorry, so we have to remake the lobby. We seem to be on the wrong map. Anyways, well, if you are just joining us, please do give us a follow. It really goes a long way to getting more great StarCraft 2 content live and to you guys, the audience. So please do give us a follow. Spray the chat with some of that confetti. And yeah, have an overall good time. So the lobby has been made and we're just waiting on the players to join. The first map is Romanticide and we will be playing on the NA server. And looks like we're all ready to get started with a ZVZ on our hands. Some good action to kick us off for the evening. Romanticide. Mirror matchups are always rather interesting. Always good to see how people from different teams approach the matches, and yeah, Romanticide definitely one of those maps that, with the ramp going up into the natural, definitely something that can be easy to...
Game paused.
I see we have a pause here. Seems someone is missing.
Game resumed.
Okay, seems like we're going to kick this off, so let's introduce our players. Oh, never mind. We're going to remake. One of the casters is missing. Okay, so it seems like map number 2 is going to be the walkover that CSO is conceding to Team Cryptic. So we will see how that plays out in the long run of the tournament. This being best of 7 4v4 all kill format, where each player will play a 1v1, and if they win the 1v1 they'll hold their spot and face the next opponent from the team, and so it goes vice versa, meaning the first person, and so the slots are all rank locked, so the slots are all rank locked, so it should be MMR locked, so it should be fairly even between the players as they go head to head, and be a challenge should they win their match. It would be a challenge going up against the next opponent from the next team. So we'll see. We're back in lobby and seems like we're ready to go. Players are ready. Casters are ready. Seems like we're all ready to kick this one off at long last. And we're good to go. Players ready, casters are all ready. And let's kick this 5th week's installment of the VTL. Really exciting stuff. So without any further ado, Let's introduce our players. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Romanticide. It is the blue Zerg player from Team CSO. It is J Priest. And in the top left hand corner of Romanticide, the red Zerg player from Team Cryptic, it is Art Bitter. So what do we have here? We've got a drone heading across the map for J Priest, who's done an extractor trick and seems to be opening up with some early game aggression. It's just going to just block the natural of Art Bitter. It is indeed J Priest looking to block the natural of Art Bitter and, you know, throw him off the early game. Art Bitter opting to chase the drone instead of taking the third base is pretty normal, pretty standard with a pro block, and does manage to get his hatchery down in time. Going for a standard hatch gas pool with J Priest on the other side getting the gas, and his pool on the way, his hatchery in the natural slightly delayed, but we'll see what how much that actually affects his game in the long run. The spawning pool on the side of Art, but pretty standard timing seems to be coming up. Just finished up, and a queen on the way in the main. Art, but both players firing up 4 lings as soon as the spawning pool's pretty much done, and ling speed on the way for J Priest immediately. So looking to get a little bit of early aggression on. Art Bitter in the meantime firing up a couple extra drones, not expecting any sort of aggression out of J Priest. J Priest hiding his lings to the right of his main, moving them down to the low ground now, where they could be spotted by Art Bitter's Overlord. They are visible on the map, but I'm not sure Art Bitter has seen them come across the map at the moment, so these 6 lings from J Priest might just catch Art Bitter by surprise, but he does have the queen in the front of the, pretty close to the ramp of the natural, and yeah, it seems like Art Bitter will have enough to turn this little bit of early aggression away. The links from J Priest getting the first couple shots off, so taking a favorable engagement right off the bat there, but Art Bitter taking up pretty heavily here, going for the early baiting nest and the roach warren in the wall, putting down an evo chamber and double evo chamber and firing up a spine crawler to just cement that front wall. And I think he sort of knows that there's some aggression coming across the map from J Priest, and he just doesn't want to die to too much ling pressure. J Priest does fire up his own roach warren and has taken both his gases in the main. So is Art Bitter. Ooh, an Art Bitter with the Nidus worm. I don't think J Priest has done any sort of scouting in the main of Art Bitter. No, he hasn't, so he has absolutely no idea that this is on the way. Art Bitter with the well placed Overlord coming into what is a blind spot of the main of J Priest, and J Priest will have absolutely no idea that this Nidus will be coming in. Although he does have an Overlord. Well, no, the Overlord's not rallied to do any sort of scouting at the moment, and Art Bitter is aware that J Priest has invested in a third hatchery, so the Nidus of Art Bitter going down in the main. And has J Priest seen it? He hasn't. He has now. But is that going to be a little bit too late? It is a little bit too late, as only 2 roaches pop out and a drone, and there's a bit of an engagement going on here. The Ling's fighting the roaches, so more reinforcements could pop out of the Nidus, but that seems to be a successful hold here by J Priest, as another Nidus goes down in what is the 3rd base of J Priest, and J Priest still not reacting to this Nidus. Oh, there we go, he's now pulled everything in, and that's very well done. That seems to be very well held here by J Priestess. A few roaches pop out, but not enough to cause any sort of damage. The Nidus play shut down quite nicely by J Prieston. We'll see where this leads us. Both players on 34 workers. 3 bases, the 3rd base of Artbitter coming up. Almost about halfway done. Roach speed on the way, +1 on the way. +1 of J Priest. A little bit faster, but still no lair. I beg your pardon, there is a lair in the natural one. J Priest taking both his gases. His injects seem to be on point. And J Priest taking the slight supply lead at the moment. Still no scouting yet of J Priest of the main of Artbitter, so he has absolutely no idea what's going on, but I think he's quite happy to take this into the mid game, going into Roach Hydra. Artbitter does have Overlord speed on the way, so looking to get a bit of scouting done. Has a couple Overseers morphing in the middle of the map, and we'll see if a few changelings make their way in and get a full scout off. Grooved Spawns on the way for J Priesters. He's looking to get those Hydralisk upgrades. Army supply still a little bit in favor of J Priesters. He fires up the Lurker Den, almost at full saturation on 3 bases, so a good position to be in. A few more Ravagers on the way, as J Priest just doesn't want to die from any sort of aggression, although none is on the way yet, so both players just sitting back and looking to macro their way out. Artbitter firing up 11 drones as he senses no real aggression coming from the side of J Priest, so taking this opportunity to take a slight worker lead, but yeah, J Priest taking a forward 4th base, as still no aggression coming from either side. And both players just looking to tech up and head into that mid game. 9 Hydralisks on the way for J Priesters. He's setting up for what could be an army crunching move here. Let's see how many of these units he turns into lurkers, as I think he's just trying to not get spotted by Artbitter's Overseers. Corrosive bars down an Overseer sitting just outside the 4th base, and J Priest's Overlords do give him the vision of Artbitter's units just sitting outside of his base, off of creepers. Artbitter does try corrosive bile down one of J Priest's Overlords, but the Overlord speed helping that Ovi stay alive. Overlord on patrol, so not easy to hit, as J Priest with quite a commanding army supply lead, looking to put a bit of pressure on Artbitters. He's got quite a few Zerglings looking to shut down that 4th base of Artbitter. Arbiter cancelling that fourth. That's cancel, not a kill. So very well done there, not to lose 300 minerals, only losing the 75. Both players, well, J Priest doing a little bit of creep spread, but not trying to give his opponent that speed boost that creep spread does offer to all Zergs, since he fully saturates all of his gases at his fourth base. As Arbiter is now trying to set up that fourth base of his own. J Priest has a strong Ling run bar coming into the third base of Arbiter, getting 7 drones, and pulling the whole army back into the in between the second and third base. So pretty successful run bar, taking Arbiter down to 60 workers and giving J Priest a 13 worker advantage. Neither player wanting to overstep or lose too many units, as Arbiter does have the tunneling claw roaches, and so I do wonder if he's going to use those, as he has a lurker den of his own, and he's firing up the lurker range upgrade. So I would like to see if Arbiter has any lurkers of his own. He doesn't, but he is looking to tech into that. J Priest has a lot of lurkers just outside Arbiter's fourth, and 17 lurkers to the 7 of Arbiter. So J Priest now looking to pull the trigger and lurker versus lurker fight. We'll see how this goes. Is there an overseer of J Priest? Yes, there is. So detection on both sides. The lurkers of Arbiter do have the lurker range upgrade, which is definitely helping them in this fight, since a couple of J Priest's lurkers are getting picked off. But J Priest is going to push forward. He burrows those lurkers, and oof, both players with 2-2. Arbiter having the armor upgrade. He's going to be 1 armor upgrade up, as he gets the 2 upgrade advantage over J Priest at the moment. Too seems to have not taken a very good fight here, just outside the natural ramp of Arbiter. J Priest missing out on that range upgrade for his lurkers, and that seems to have definitely made a difference here. Quite a few Lings looking to make another run by on the third base of Arbiter's. J Priest is just not looking to get caught out. A couple of Vipers on the side of Arbiter. I do wonder if there's going to be a couple of ducks to pull those lurkers of J Priest out of position. The Lings are seen from a drone that was going to go establish another fourth base for Arbiters. J Priest takes a 5th and a 6th with the rich Vespine gas, so definitely looking to tech up here. 13 more Hydras on the way, as these few Lings are just getting quite a few drones here. Another 6 drones going down on the side of Arbiters. J Priest double expands, as he sees Arbiter not having the opportunity to move out. Adaptive talent on the way, so the lurker upgrades for burrowing and unburrowing, as J Priest looking to make use of their versatility and movement, trying to get them up and into positions where they can do as much damage as possible. Both players looking for this Hydra lurker composition as we move into quite a steady mid game here. The 77 workers of J Priest against the 51 workers of Arbiter. J Priest has really kept Arbiter pinned back on 3 bases. There are a few things. Both players looking to saturate their gases immediately and trying to get as much gas income as possible. The Hydra lurker composition being generally pretty intense on gas, and this army of Arbiter now pushing out into the middle of the map. Artbitter now trying to break down these rocks to get up onto the ramp of J Priest's 5th base, or J Priest's 6th base, with the Rich Vespine, and he's now going to push up into this ramp with 3 lurkers at the top, and Blinding Cloud does come down from Artbitter, and the lurkers of J Priest just out of position, just not in a position to stop this down. Oh. Defeats the army of Artbitter, and a very swift GG out of Artbitter. So we have a game 1 victory to J Priest and Team CSO after what was a very timid game, both players not wanting to overstep or overcommit and lose their armies too soon, and Artbitter taking a fight up a ramp. Although the lurkers of J Priest weren't in the best of positions, they were still trying to reposition around the back and try to cut off any sort of reinforcements. Still enough damage there. A few blinding clouds from Artbitter, not enough to stop those Hydralisks from really doing a lot of damage and taking down that army of Artbitter. J Priest successfully defending that 6th base after keeping Artbitter pinned back on 3 for quite a long time, and J Priest getting the victory after pretty good ZVZ on Romanticide. So while we wait for our next lobby invite to game 2 of this week's VTL, again I'll ask you, if you're tuning in for the first time and if you haven't already, give us a follow and pop us a message in the chat. Our admins are there and ready to engage with our audience. We're quite happy to have you here joining us, and we welcome you returning. This VTL is happening every week, and so I think it's every Sunday where we'll have 2 teams going up against each other in a 4v4 best of 7 or kill format. So we look forward to having you join us. As we just wait for our next lobby, Team Cryptic with the map choice of the losing team in this format. The losing team is the team that gets to choose the next map to play on, with I think 2000 atmospheres being the choice. And I really like this. I really like this map. It's yeah, I think it's pretty good. It does remind me of some of the older maps, and yeah, we're just waiting for a player from Team Cryptic to join the party. We're all in the lobby waiting. Casters are ready, and yeah, so going back to that previous game of on Romanticide between J Priest and Artbitter, the Vipers of Artbitter were a very nice addition there, although they opted to go for blinding clouds instead of, you know, poking from the outside and pulling a couple lurkers in. Blinding Clouds, I think, a good idea with the mostly hydro ranged based attack from J Priest, but pushing up into that ramp gave J Priest a huge concave, and I think that's ultimately what got the win over Arbiter. Arbiter was expanding on the back of that, and you know, I think if he was able to secure a fourth base a lot earlier, and you know, I definitely could have seen a lot closer of a ZVZ there, but J Priest was able to keep Arbiter pinned back on 3 bases, and the Ling run bars, you know, doing quite a bit of economic damage there. I'm not sure how many workers went down, maybe 20 or so on the side of Arbiter, and J Priest really, you know, solidifying his macro behind that, getting himself into a good position to make a significant amount of army, significantly more army than what Arbiter was after that questionable engagement at the 4th, where Arbiter had the range upgrades on the lurkers, and his lurkers just destroying J Priest's lurkers at what was the 4th base that J Priest, I think, cancelled twice. So it seems we have another ZVZ on our hands. A little bit of banter going back and forth as we wait for the team captain from Cryptic to be ready. J Priest and Blog just having good banters, and hopefully it reflects in a good game on both of their parts. We have if we have a look at the Wikipedia standings, I mean, Team CSO is currently sitting in 2nd spot with 3 wins and 1 loss, with 15 map wins and 11 map losses, against Cryptic Gaming with 1 win and 3 losses, 12 map wins and 14 map losses. So it looks like some really close games that Cryptic Gaming has just missed out on winning. And you know, with the map walkover today from game 2 going in favor of Cryptic Gaming, that leaves us tied up 1-1 in this tournament. And yeah, it looks like although the standings aren't pretty even at the moment, seems like Cryptic Gaming has just missed out on a few close wins. Seems like we're all ready to get going in this. What is game 3, where we have the 3100 MMR player or less from Team CSO going up against the Diamond 2 player from Team Cryptic. Another ZVZ on our hands on 2000 atmospheres, so let's see what this game brings us. And spawning in the bottom left hand side of 2000 atmospheres, playing with the green drones, it is Cryptic's blog. And in the top right hand corner, spawning with the red Zerg drones from Team CSO, it is J Priest. It seems as though J Priest is going across the map with an early drone and looking to get that hatch block down. I do wonder how effective this is in disrupting the rhythm of Zerg players, as oh no, this drone's actually just going to go up into the main and make sure that there's no cheeky 12 pool. Early drone scout out of J Priest, and just going to make sure that there's no shenanigans going on at the moment, as both players get their natural hatcheries down at relatively similar times, and everything seems pretty standard. No shenanigans from either player just yet, as hatch gas pool on the side of both players. J Priest opting for that forward spawning pool location, which is generally indicative of defending against the 12 pool drone pool spawn crawler rush. So J Priest definitely prepared to, and definitely well versed in the shenaniganry of ZVZs. Fairly standard opener so far, so we'll see once the spawning pools pop what if both players do opt to pull some drones out of gas, or if they keep them on the gas. Spawning pool finishes on the side of blog and fires up 4 lings and 2 queens immediately. J Priest does the same. So far pretty mirrored stuff, and blog the only player to pull some drones out of the gas, looking to get that little inject in minerals, as J Priest takes a slight advantage in the gas income. Blog sensing no real aggression on the side of J Priest, going for a very early third. I suppose both players opting for what is an early third, although it's a 2-minute 40, which I think is pretty standard, with 6 lings of J Priest making their way across the map, and we'll see if they're looking to deny that third base of blog. Blog does have 4 lings of his own, 6 lings of his own, just sitting outside of his natural, and the 6 lings of J Priest are going to get to work on this natural of blog. Some good micro, no extra hits on the hatchery, and looks like blog is going to keep that alive. 1 ling from J Priest going down, and a tear face. Sad to have lost a friend. J Priest opting to throw down that early Roach Warren, early baneling nest as Blarg gets his Roach Warren. Blarg going for a lair, upgrading his lair at the moment as J Priest still sitting on hatch tech. Not looking to head into lair just yet as the links from Blarg now going to start getting to work on this hatchery of J Priest, and J Priest not having the same amount of lings as Blarg, and Blarg opting to chase down the lings instead of continuing to hit that hatchery. Blarg now going to commit in here, but there are 2 queens from J Priest, and J Priest is now going to still look to defend his 3rd base as some really good macro from Blarg trying to minimize the amount of lings he loses. Doesn't manage to get the 3rd base of J Priest, but keeps a ling on the Zelnaga tower and securing that vision out of the 3rd base from J Priest. Spire on the way here for Vlog as J Priest still doesn't have an overlord in position to scout any sort of tech coming out of Vlog, so J Priest going to sort of lean on that roach heavy tech with absolutely no anti-air besides the queens, so we will see what his response is to these Mutalisks that should be on the way from Blarg as soon as this pops. He does have quite a bit of minerals banked up and should be saving up on some gas now just to fire up as many mutas as possible. He is saturated on 2 bases and takes both the gases on his 3rd base now, as J Priest is only saturated on 2 base with gas, so J Priest definitely looking to stick more to that ground based army as Blarg is going to make the switch into mutas relatively soon. +1 flyer attacks on the way with 5 overlords, as I think Blarg was a bit supply blocked there. J Priest still has absolutely no idea that this is on the way. Macro hatch going up in the main base for Blarg, and that's definitely going to give him the lava to contest on the ground as 3 more Mutalisks are on the way. And yeah, I'd like to see Blarg going to hide his Mutalisks in the back of his main base where they're not likely to get spotted. J Priest firing up 13 more drones. Definitely seeing this little window of non-aggression as an opportunity to drone up and throwing down the Hydralisk den, but is there just going to be too many Mutalisks by the time this Hydra den actually finishes up, or will J Priest have enough to defend? Still no spore crawlers on the way, so I don't think he has any idea that mutas are on the cards here. So as the muta count goes up to 6, we will see if there's enough here we will see if there's going to be a critical mass of Mutalisks as both players take their 4th bases. J Priest does get some lings in, and now he finally gets a scout to the spire, pulling pretty much the entire ground army of Blarg back into the main, trying to deny that, but he finally does get a scout to that and throws down 3, 4, 5 6 spore crawlers. J Priest not looking to die to these Mutalisks right away. Double spore in each mineral line, definitely trying to look after his economy. 3 Hydralisks on the way with the grooved spine upgrade, both upgrades being queued as J Priest had a bit of money banked up. Blarg in the meantime going around and picking off all the scouting overlords on the side of J Priest, is heavily supplying J Priest, heavily supply blocking J Priest, as he's now 20 supply behind, although he does have 4 overlords queued up in the production tab. 1 spore crawler and 2 queens looking to put some damage on these Mutalisks as they start to do a little dance. The ground army of Blog now meeting up with the Mutalisks just outside the third and fourth base of J Priesters. It looks like we're going to have our first real engagement of the game. Some Hydralisks and some Queens now caught just off of Creepers. Blog is now going to move in with a maxed out Blog is going to move in with a lot of Ling, Roach and some Mutalisks just to add some flavor in there. The Mutalisks are going to pick away at the fourth hatch of J Priestess. The mass Ling, Roach army of Blog commits in here, and a few very good Baneling detonations, but I'm not sure if there's enough Roach Hydra here from J Priest, and J Priest doesn't think so either. GG gets called. As Blog takes the win over J Priest with a very good ZVZ. Yeah, I think it was very well done from Vlog. Not actually showing the mutas too soon and keeping them well hidden. Letting that scout go off from J Priestess. He tried to put some pressure on the fourth base, and then instead of running away, he just sort of like pushed up into the main and got a really good scout off. Allowed him to put down a couple spore crawlers, but in the end, just too much ground army there for Blog, and he does get the win over J Priest, giving Team Cryptic the 2-1 lead in this 4v4 best of 7. Really good game there from both players, and well played by Team CSO's J Priest, who did really well and didn't commit to anything too early, and once he got that scout off, he sort of knew the Hydralisk Den was the correct choice there. I think if he had pulled back as many Overlords as possible, he did neglect to go Overlord speed this game, whereas in the first game he went Overlord speed, and I think that really helps. You know, that Overlord speed would have helped if he had was able to pull back those Overlords as soon as possible, because he was heavily supply blocked there by the Mutalisks from Blog, just flying around and picking off all the scouting Overlords, and that might have stopped it or slowed him down from, you know, producing enough Hydralisks or getting a critical mass of ground units to deal with that really Ling, Roach heavy ground army from Blog. Well played by Blog though, like very well played, and keeping that Spire hidden as long as he did, and you know, not leading on to pretty much anything, keeping that fourth base of his alive with the Ling harassment from J Priest. Yeah, very well done there by Cryptic's Blog. As we wait for the lobby link to come through, it is a map pick for Team CSO, having lost the previous map with J Priest losing to Blog. We have the map pick on the side of Team CSO, and Fluke is the player who picked Lightshade. Fluke plays for Team CSC EU, but in this VTL format, the Validity Team League format, you are allowed to recruit a couple mercenaries if you're unable to field a full team, and so Fluke, being mercenary from Team CSC EU, will be playing in the 4100 MMR slot for Team CSO. Blog who's Blog who is the Diamond 2 Zerg. The winner of the last maps does hold the field at the moment with yep, seems like team captain is called for a quick minute, so we'll give him as much time as they need, as we have a ZVP on Lightshade, one of the very good maps for ZVP. The quite an open natural expansion. I mean, some early link pressure is definitely what needs to be scouted here by Fluke. If Blark does opt to go for a 12 pool and Fluke opts to go for a low ground wall off, it is definitely going to be something that's hard to hold with such a big opening into the natural there. I actually wouldn't mind to see some glaved adepts from Fluke, and you know, just trying to see if the splitting from Blarg is, you know, up to scratch, or if Fluke can actually get in with maybe like a 4 gate adept pressure and hurt the Zerg economy. That'll be like really something that we have to see if comes to fruition. Our first ZVP for the evening after 2 mirror match ZVZs here, so a little bit of change, which isn't a bad thing. Seems like there are just some player checks going on, as this is a mercenary player from Team CSE, so Cryptic Gaming just trying to make sure that no funny business is going on from Team CSO, and I'm pretty certain that he'll find everything is in order. Here we go. Seems like everyone is ready to kick this game off, and players are ready, casters are all ready, team captains are all ready. Looks like we're ready to get started. As we get ready to kick off Game 4 on Lightshade. Our first PVZ for the evening, as we get ready to introduce our players. And spawning in the top left hand side of Lightshade, it is the blue Protoss player playing for Team CSO it is light check. It is Fluke. And in the bottom right hand side, playing for Team Cryptic, it is the green Zerg player. It is Blog. Blog opting for that 12 pool that I mentioned, and we'll see if Fluke goes for that low ground wall off, which it seems like he's going for. So we'll see if he's able to get that full wall in, or if there's some early link pressure from Blog is going to actually get in here and do quite a bit of damage. Blog firing up 6 lings immediately, as Fluke does get the scout off, and he's well aware that this is on the way. Tries to get that hatch block. He doesn't actually see the lings move out from Blog, so I don't think he's 100% certain that this is on the way, but the probe from Fluke hanging about, and Blog expanding behind this, so not overly committing to the 12 pool here. Has chrono boosted out to Zealot, and that is placed in the wall, but I'm not too sure if this is a full wall here, or if Blog is actually going to be able to. He does get a couple extra Zerglings here, so they start to nibble on the cyber core and the gateway. So some 2 lings do get in here and pull the Zealots out of position. So the lings of Blog actually coming in, getting in here, and actually getting us around on that first Zealot. Another Zealot does pop out, and Fluke positioning that Zealot in a good position to not get surrounded by those lings, as one gateway does fall. The Zealot of Fluke not wanting to overcommit and get fully surrounded. Blog seeing such great reward from his early 12 pool. He does really commit into this early link pressure, and I'm not sure that Fluke has enough to hold this. One adept does pop out and immediately gets taken down by the lings, as another adept is chrono boosted out of the gateway, but I don't think that one's going to finish. Warp gate research is going to get denied, and I think Blog just has too many Zerglings here and is actually going to take out the Protoss player from playing for Team CSO. A lot of slow lings streaming their way across the map, as there's absolutely no army supply here on the side of Fluke yet, and there's just too many Zerglings. 25, 27 supply of Zerglings, and Fluke has to tap out. The early 12 pool paying off. The early 12 pool paying off on the side of Blog, and he had expanded behind that, so that wasn't the intention of his to, overly commit, but pulling that first Zealot out of position, it definitely showed him that there was an opportunity here to get some real damage done, and committing really hard to the Zergling pressure there was, ultimately what won him the game. And if he had gone back into macroing there, I mean, we could have had a very, very different game, but yeah, we'll see what this next match has in store for us. So very well done there by Blog. As I mentioned, the really wide entrance into the natural, and if the Protoss opts for a lower ground wall off there, I mean, getting the wall off was done in time, but that Zealot not exactly able to deal with those 6-8 lings. The initial 6-8 lings from Blog, and yeah, that was a very, very good win there. Blog hoping to take out yet another player on the side of Team CSO and give Team Cryptic the win today. This would be his third win after having defeated the Zerg player J Priest from Team CSO and then the Protoss player Fluke in a very quick game 4 for the evening. As we just wait for a few more people to join the lobby. We have another PVZ on the way with Team CSO's Blade Team CSO's Blade choosing Oxide for the next CVP. Oxide does have a ramp leading up into the natural, which is definitely something that makes pushing up into what could be a well defended wall of from the Protoss a little bit more difficult, but we'll see what this map has in store. We'll wait for a few background checks to get cleared and get this game 5 on the way. So Blah giving Team Cryptic the 3-1 lead in this 4v4 best of 7 all kill format. So Team Cryptic on match point with Blade from Team CSO, the last person left, and you know, possibly doing a reverse sweep here. I'm not too certain what the hold up is at the moment, but we will have the game. Everyone's in the lobby and ready, just waiting for a few more readies to go. So as soon as we can, we'll have this game 5 on the way. And there we go, we have the game on the way. And spawning in the bottom left hand side of Oxide, we have, playing for Team CSO, it is the blue Protoss player, Blade. And in the top right hand corner, going for yet another 12 pull, we have the green Zerg player, playing for Team Cryptic, it is Blog. Blade sending an early probe across the map. Pylon scout looking to see if there are any shenanigans on the side of the Zerg players. He doesn't see the drone coming down at what would be a normal time. That a good indicator that there is a 12 pull on the way. Is it is scouted, and 6 slings are immediately fired up. The drone from Blog goes down to take the natural expansion and opts to come up and chase away the probe that was patrolling at the top of the ramp of the main base, and Blade just going to rally this probe around the natural of Blog, as Blog not wanting to show the Zerglings, but Blade hanging around long enough to scout them. Blade going for a full wall off and chronoing out that first Zealot, so definitely hoping to do a little bit better than Fluke in the on the previous map, but double gateway cyber core to block off the ramp to the natural expansion, and these Zerglings now just going to start nibbling away at the cybernetics core as Blade does a little dance with the Zerglings and chronoing out a second Zealot. Two Zealots are enough to take care of this early ling pressure from Blog, as 10 more lings are on the way, and Blog looking to really cement some aggression here. 12 pull seems to be his strategy to go for them against Protoss players, and really doing quite a lot of damage on that cybernetics core, as the Zealots do get surrounded here, but an Adept pops out just in time to clear up the Zerglings on the front door, as Blog has a few more Zerglings on the way. 2 Adepts are able to one-shot the Zerglings, and so I don't think Blade has any idea that these Zerglings are poised outside his third base, or he wouldn't be shading that first Adept across the map. There's a shield battery now as a part of the wall here for Blade, as these Zerglings now commit into this Adept, and the shield battery almost out of energy as these Zerglings carry on chipping away at the wall of Blade, and there just seems to be too much Zerg here on the side of Blog, as the Zerglings get into the base. They take the Adept down that was holding the wall, and the Zerglings get into the base. A Stalker does pop up, but there was only one pylon powering all those gates, and these Zerglings are just running ham in the natural expansion here of Blade. Blog just holding down that Z key, and keeping all the Zerg, just only making Zerglings at the moment, sticking on to 13 workers and only making Zerglings, and it seems like there's just too much Zerg here on the side of Blog, although there is a Void Ray there was an early Stargate, and there's a second Void Ray on the way here for Blade as Blarg tries to keep this pylon alive and repower his gates, but there's just too much Zergling, too many Zerglings on the side here of Blarg, and it seems like Team Cryptic is going to have just enough here to unseat Team CSO from that second place. 2 Void Rays out. There's a third Void Ray on the way here, and 2 Void Rays are like pretty decent at dealing with Zerglings, although they do have a very slow fire rate. 2 Void Rays can really do a lot of damage to two Zerglings, and Blarg not building any workers on the back of this. He is 4 workers down, and Blade not looking to tap out too soon with the third Void Ray popping, and Blade is it does look like Blade's going to just spot these Zerglings sitting outside the third base, outside his third base. As 3 Void Rays, 3 Void Rays is going to be enough to clean this up, and I do wonder if Blade has done enough here, as Blarg decides he's going to build a couple drones. He does have 4 queens back home, and as Blade is going to try push across the map with 3 Void Rays. There are 2 Spore Crawlers on the way, so Blarg not entirely defenseless against these Void Rays, but 3 Void Rays against 5 queens and 2 Spore Crawlers. This is going to be pretty good engagement here by Blarg, and these queens are going to be enough to drive away these 3 voids. 5 queens is enough to chase away 3 Void Rays, as we seem to be settling into the 7 minute mark. There's still only 1 adept in the wall here for Blade, and some more Zerglings come to pressure the frontiers. We'll see if these Zerglings can actually chip through the wall. Warp gate is done, so another 2 adepts do warp in here, as the 3 Void Rays from Blade actually do get pulled all the way back home to clean this up. Robo Bay on the side of Blade, so I do wonder what's going to come out of that, as he chrono boosts a 4th Void Ray. So definitely looking to get into that Void Ray production, as Blarg is half the worker supply of Blade, as Blade takes both gases on his natural, and I think Blade is just looking to tech up at the moment and solidify his supply lead. Blarg droning up a little bit, firing up 5 drones and trying to catch up on the economy front, as the robotics bay gets thrown down and nothing being built out of the robo facility. Makes me think that we might be heading into some disruptor play. There are 4 Void Rays on the field now for Blade, and 3 making their way across the map as some links move out. And we'll see if these Void Rays can get any purchase here on the side of Blade, as there are 6 queens waiting to meet them at the in between the natural and the main base of Blarg. So the Void Rays unfortunately not able to get anything done, as Hydralisks is the Hydroden is the choice of Blarg here, who's taking a 30 supply, who's at a 30 supply deficit, with Blade trying to establish a 3rd base, but this Ling run by might just be enough to throw this off. A couple of adepts, there are 3 adepts here defensively, but the Lings do get a good surround on those adepts, and this Void Ray might just be enough to keep this base alive, as the second Void Ray does come back to help. The Void Ray count now up to 5, as the second disruptor is on the way. Some patrolling stalkers here trying to deny any sort of scouting overlord, so that there's Blarg is kept in the dark. This is a 3 base Protoss against a 2 base Zerg, which often isn't a good position for the Zerg to be in, but The Zerg does have a healthy amount of queens and quite a few hydralisks getting added into the mix, so the anti-air is definitely up, definitely on the way up. But with 2 disruptors on the way, and two disruptors and a third one already on the way, I do think that Blade has managed to stabilize, and after some really good early game pressure from Blog, and seems to be in a commanding lead with taking a 30 supply advantage. 5 Void Rays do poke in the main base of Blog as he throws down his 3rd hatchery, and the 5 Voids are turned away by a healthy Queen Hydralisk force waiting at the in between natural and the 3rd. A 2nd Stargate on the way, so is this going to be quite a bit of Void Ray pressure, I wonder, or if we're going to get some Phoenixes on the way too. Still Void Ray production, 2 Void Rays at a time now, chronoing both Stargates, so looks like we're going to get a Void Ray disruptor push out on the side of Blade, as some Stalkers, some Adept and some Disruptors sit in a defensive position around the 3rd base of Blade, as he's fully saturated on 3 bases, adding on 1 extra worker there, but fully saturated on 3 bases. As there's 6 Void Rays from Blade looking to find some purchase here. There are a few Hydralisks here, and Hydralisks do really well against Void Rays, so Blade not looking to overcommit to these Void Rays and lose any, none of them taking any hull damage, so very good micro there on the side of Blade. I would like to see Blade take a threaten the 3rd base of, oh, I suppose he can't. Blog's really stationed quite a few Hydralisks and some Lings out at the 3rd base, but Blade is pushing across the map. He does have a 20 army supply advantage here, and a lot of Hydra Ling, which is quite brittle against the Purification Novas out of Blade. Some good micro initially there, as he does dodge a couple of these Disruption Novas, but Purification Novas, but the ground force from Blade taking most of the shots here and keeping those Void Rays alive. Some good transfuses on the side of Blog, but there just doesn't seem to be enough here to hold this Protoss force, and GG is called after what was a really tight couple minutes in the beginning there, with I think Blog thinking he got the early win against Blade, but Blade luckily enough managing to get out a couple Void Rays and holding what was a really strong 12 pull, and really well done 12 pull on the side of Blog. GG gets called, and Blog unfortunately loses to Team CSO's Blade, giving CSO 2 points on the board, and Team Cryptic still sitting in on match point. Team Cryptic with the map pick now, as there are only 2 maps left in the pool for this evening. We have Jagannatha and one other map. I'm not 100% sure what the other map is, so we still have 2 maps to play in this. We'll have 2 maps to play this evening. We should have Jagannatha and I've actually forgotten the map. Ha! Either Beckett or Death Aura. I'm not 100% sure what the official map pool is, but yeah, Blade, the Protoss player on playing for Team CSO, luckily managing to hold the 12 pool from Blog and managing to secure the win there. Getting the robotics bay and then the robo support facility was enough to get a few disruptors, and even though there was some really good macro on the side of Blog on creep, I think Blade just had too much army supply. On the third base of Blog, having Blade taking that worker lead quite early on and really solidifying that, definitely helped him build up the army that he needed to ultimately win him the game. That victory from Blade taking us into a game 6, which will be on Jagannatha. Kazui is the player from Team Cryptic who has chosen Jagannatha, so we will see what Game 6 has in store for us, as this VTL Season 10 really starts to heat up. As we just wait for everyone to ready up, we'll get Game 6 on the way pretty shortly. seems that I'm the one having a little bit of trouble connecting to actually joining in the lobby, so just going to restart and see what we can actually do about that. My apologies. There we go, I'm back in, and hopefully I have absolutely no problems joining game 6 of what's turning out to be a really good tournament here between Cryptic and CSO. Cryptic being up 3-1 and on match point, so one more map win for them and they will get the victory. It seems everyone was waiting for me. My apologies. As game 6 on Jaganatha, we have a PvP. Kazui from Team Cryptic up against Blade from Team CSO on what is one of the most split map scenarios, maps with the most split map scenarios that I've seen. Looks like we're getting yet another mirror matchup for the evening, just this time with Protoss. We're still yet to see a Terran today, so let's get to it. We introduce our players. Spawning in the top right hand corner, playing for Team CSO, it is the blue Protoss player, Blade. And over in the bottom left hand corner, playing for Team Cryptic, it is the red Protoss player, Kazui. So I mean, both players going for a high ground wall off, and Blade getting an early scout in as the probe from Kazui only making his way across now. He does have a rally point set all across the main of Blade, so he's going to be looking out to see if that second pylon is placed in the main base or if it is placed somewhere else on the map. Double gas on the way as we have pretty much mirror openers now from both players. And we'll see how this PvP unfolds. Blade getting his second pylon out and out on the map, and I'd like to see what he's looking to proxy. Warp gate research being chronoed out now from Blade, so I do wonder if that's pylon out in the middle of the map is going to be for a proxy or if it's just going to be for warp gate, as Kazui opts for his own proxy pylon on the map. Kazui does opt for a pylon block in the main of Blade. He does cancel it eventually, but there is a proxy gateway on the side of Blade, who is now going up to 3 gates, I believe, and is this just going to be a very strong 3 gate Stalker bolters. So both players going up to 3 gates, and both players seem to be building pretty much identically at the moment. So there are 2 stalkers of Kazooie scouting around the lower side of the map, and he's just going to miss the gateways of Blade, the proxy gateway of Blade. So Blade rallying his stalkers to one of the acceleration zones on Kazooie's side of the map, and we have 4 stalkers versus 4 stalkers at the moment, but Kazooie does have taking the stalker lead at the moment, and Kazooie throwing down a very early robo facility. So still no robo on the side of Blade, although he has opted to go for a low ground expansion. Kazooie rallying his units on the other side of the map, and Blade now going to press into the natural. He sees that there is no natural nexus here from Kazooie, so he has to know that there is stalkers on the way to his side of the map, as 3 stalkers are warped in here for Blade, or 2 stalkers and a sentry, but the stalkers of Kazooie getting into the main base, forcing a recall out of Blade, is a very good force field at the top of the ramp, stops 2 stalkers of Kazooie from getting in. Blade does have that low ground nexus, and Kazooie getting a really good shot, initially shot off there and picking off 2 stalkers now, but Blade does have enough to push this back, and Kazooie losing 1 more stalker, only able to recall 2 stalkers. Blade now sensing that there must be something on his side of the map here, is going to find that proxy gateway, and is going to start nibbling away at that. The army advantage, army supply advantage on the side of Blade, but there is an Immortal coming out on the side of Kazooie here, and Immortals shred through stalkers, so it is the 13 stalkers of Blade to the 3 stalkers of Kazooie, but he does have an Immortal and 3 sentries, so a very optimistic expansion there from Kazooie, and Blade does manage to get the kill on that, and there's a kill, not a counter, so 400 minerals down on the side of Kazooie, as Blade's natural is now starting to get saturated. He's only 1 probe up, and he is going to station his stalkers just on the natural expansion of Kazooie, trying to get a nice decent arc here as he probes up, and his natural taking the advantage to keep Kazooie on 1 base and having a second expansion of his own. Kazooie does have 2 Immortals, and he's going to take this opportunity to push down his ramp and try to engage Blade here, but Blade with a very good force field of his own, pushing back, cutting off the army of Kazooie in half, and really taking a really good favourable trade there. He does lose quite a few stalkers in that engagement, and Kazooie not looking to push down the ramp just yet, although there is a Warp Prism now on the side of Kazooie, and we'll see if some good Warp Prism micro is what keeps his Immortal alive here, or if Blade is just able to set up shop here in the natural. He does have a probe there, and he's going to start to throw down a shield battery. 3 more gates on the way for Blade back home, as well as a Twilight Council, so looking to get into blink there with 2 shield batteries being built in the natural of Kazooie, and this is really ramping up to be a pretty good PvP. The Warp Prism of Kazooie is making its way to the other side of the map. There's nothing really at home to defend any sort of aggressive warp in here, as Kazooie only has 2 gates, so he's building a 3rd gateway now. The Warp Prism could actually power this gateway that's still on the map, but Kazooie not thinking of that at the moment. He is going to warp in a single Adept, and he has a Zealot in the Warp Prism at the moment, so 2 Adepts are able to one-shot probes, and we'll see what Kazooie is able to get done with this Warp Prism, and some adepts. The adepts do shade into the natural of Blade, and we're going to see them start picking away at these probes too, going down so far as Kazooie looks to attack into this army of Blade stationed outside, and Blade with some good force fields. Kazooie types out GG, and Blade just doing really well, only recalling a little bit of his army and keeping enough in the natural of Kazooie to, you know, really deal with the immortals. Those force fields from Blade just doing so well against doing so well at splitting up the army of Kazooie that yeah, Kazooie not actually able to push down his ramp and deal with the force of Blade sitting in his natural. I mean, Blade was able to put down a few shield batteries there and really solidify his aggressive position just outside the main base of Kazooie, and yeah, those force fields just doing really well at splitting the army in half, and you know, Blade's attention at the front at the right moment just to put down those force fields just in time to really, you know, not let 2 immortals down or the 3 immortals down was really what gave him the advantage in that game, and GG gets called. Blade now ties it up, bringing us to a game 7. It's been a really good series with Team Cryptic going up to match point, with CSO with only 1 point on the board thanks to the Zerg player J Priest, and now Blade with 2 good wins. First holding that 12 pull from Blog. He was able to defend that with a couple void rays, and then yeah, getting the next win against Kazooie in a mirror matchup where both players seem to go for pretty identical build. Both players going for a proxy gateway out in the middle of the map, but Kazooie just missing the scouts of Blade's proxy, and Blade finding the Kazooie's proxy and shutting that down, limiting the amount of units that Kazooie was able to warp in on excuse me, on his side of the map with you know, that aggressive Warp Prism. I actually would have liked to have seen that Warp Prism power that gateway that he had out on the map, and warping a couple extra depths there, because some more depths might have forced a bigger recall out of Blade, and you know, given Kazooie a better chance at pushing down the ramp there. The last player for Team Cryptic will be DG Franz, who's a Diamond 1 player. I think he's Terran, yeah, he's Terran, so he'll be our first Terran player for the evening and the final map of the evening. The map is Blackburn. And yeah, we'll see what these 2 players have in store for us, as this is now a best of 1 really, as both teams sit on match points, tied up 3-3, and yeah, this is really exciting stuff for our very first PvP of the evening. So yeah, let's kick this off with Blackburn being a pretty unique map in the current map pool, with both players spawning in the same hemisphere of the map, and not cross spawn as is a traditional uh, map layout in most recent times. Both players spawning in the southern hemisphere of the map in opposite corners, and Blackburn also having a gold base, which we'll see if either player chooses to expand there earlier and really get that mineral income, or if we're going to see a nice drawn out game. And spawning in the bottom left hand side of Blackburn, we have the blue Protoss player playing for CSO. It is Blade. And in the bottom right hand corner, as the pink Terran player playing for Team Cryptic, it is DG France. So being our first Terran player of the evening, I'm really excited to see what builds the Terran has prepared, and just how well prepared DG France is in the matchup against them in the TVP matchup. Blade opting to go for get his gateway in the back of his main, as opposed to blocking off the Reaper jump up spot over here. Caution. I think he's a little worried about the gateway and stuff getting picked off over here, so he's opting to go for the safer option of building it in the back of his main as he goes for an early Nexus. So there's a one gateway expand out of Blade, so very interesting, very interesting, as it is a Reaper first out of DG France, and a Marine first out of Reaper France. So yeah, everything looks pretty standard. The SCV of DG France hanging around in the main of Blade, and is going to see nothing out of the ordinary really. The second pylon is at home and is going to sort of begin lean towards a high ground wall off, which probably isn't the best of ideas, as DG France goes barracks into command center into factory. So we will see an adept being chrono boosted out on the side of Blade, as he does expect a Reaper to come up that jump spot, as there is a reactor on the side of DG France on the barracks, so producing 2 Marines at a time. Blade not sending that adept across the map just yet, as he is still waiting at home, trying not to take any early game damage, as the shade of the adept now makes its way out. It is going to be Adept Stalker into Blink on the side of Blade, so really interesting. Still only one gate. The second gate now coming down, as it is a 1-1-1 opener here on the side of DG France. The Adept looking to poke up the ramp here of DG France, as the shade will pull the Marines out of position, and Blade, well aware that there are a lot of Marines here on the side of DG France. A Widow Mount, 2 Widow Mounts, 1 Widow Mount and another Widow Mount on the way here for DG France, and a medevac, so we'll see. He has 4 Marines and 2 Widow Mounts ready to get loaded up into this medevac, as the shade from Blade does make it in, and he does actually see the Widow Mounts and the Marines waiting to hop up into the medevac, as the medevac leaves without the Marines in them, as the Marine sits on the high ground waiting just in what would be a somewhat defensive position. There are 3 Marines in the bunker at the ramp to the natural, so 2 Widow Mines on the way to Blade side of the map. There is an observer, and the Widow Mines will burrow up in the natural mineral line of Blade, but an unfortunate repositioning there of the observer, and his observer gets picked off by the splash damage of the Widow Mines. 3 Stalkers do reposition to the bottom side of the main base of Blade, expecting another drop coming on the side of DG France, as there are 3 racks now as a side, so it's 3-1-1. Stim pack being researched. There's 2 tech labs and a reactor, so stim pack on the way, and combat shields +1 on the way, so looks like DG France really starting to set up to a good really trying to set up for a good early push. I think he might want to hit around 1-1, or might even be an anti-timing here where it hits just before. But yeah, on the side of Blade we have the robotics support bay on the way. Is it robotics? No, just a robotics bay on the way, and the forge, double forge. So Blade also looking to get his upgrades on the way. As he takes a 3rd Nexus at the 9 o'clock position. Still not opting to go for that gold base, and I don't think he wants to overextend too much there. There actually hasn't been much on the side of DG France, although he has spotted the 3rd Nexus. He did spot the 3rd Nexus of Blade go down, so DG France now looking to push out. The worker supply is pretty much even with the 2 orbitals on the side of DG France, so the mules will definitely help there. The armies do meet in the middle of the map, and 2 Widow Mines going down on the side of DG France with some good micro there from Blade. So Blade blinks forward, peels a few units off of the main army of DG France, and he's going to pick off 2 Marines and a Marauder for free basically, and that's really nicely done on the side of Blade. Anything can help here as he pretty much evens up the army supply. The first Colossus is out on the way with a couple Zealots. Charge is about 75% done, and Blade fires up thermal launch. There are 3 shield batteries here, and I think DG France knows that he can't really engage into this right now, and so he lifts up in the medevac and hardtails it out of there. Blade throwing down an extra gateway as +1 armor is on the way for DG France. He opts to build the 3rd command center on the low ground towards the middle of the map, heading closer towards Blade, which I think just helps with as a launch pad for, you know, future attacks, as he can rally up closer to his enemy, whereas Blade has opted to expand vertically. DG France does know that there's an observer nearby, and just manages to pick it off with the 2nd volley of the 2 Vikings there. 2 Colossus on the side of Blade, with the 3rd one about to pop, with the thermal lance almost finished. Blade looks like he's going to try push out across the map and do a little bit of pressure, but with the Viking count of DG France being up to 4 and such a low stalker count, I don't think that Blade can actually engage into this army of DG France. The Vikings are almost 1-to-1 ratio against the stalkers, and I'm not sure that 4 stalkers can actually deal with these Vikings, although the Colossus really doing such a good job at zoning out the bio army. Only 1 Colossus goes down, and all four Vikings actually land up falling as the Colossus starts to put in a bit of work on the CC and the supply depots here, and DG a little bit of a warping of some charge lots as DG France does try to micro back and cart back, as a little bit of warp prism micro there. Luckily the Colossus was just in range of the war prism. Some of the SCVs get pulled into the fray, and DG France losing 15 workers right now. Blade just seems to have a little bit too much here, and I'd like to see DG France lift that CC and try keep it alive here. It is on fire, so it will require some repairs at the moment, but it's a really good Terran macro here which needed to try keep DG France in this game. I don't know if concussive shells has been done yet. Concussive shells is done, so those marauders are able to mitigate the charge from the zealots, but some reinforcing warpins here on the side of Blade, and he's actually got a good position here to keep on the pressure. He is up 20 workers after that initial engagement with DG France, pulling a couple of the workers into the fray, but the Viking count just not high enough to deal with these colossi, and yeah, this is not a good position for DG France to try push down and engage in, as Blade does try to push up this ramp here and really engage into this bio army, and the Terran just not having enough here. DG France tapping out, calling it GG as he loses pretty much everything at the ramp leading up to his natural, and Blade doing a bit of the reverse sweep there and getting the 4-3 victory for Team CSO. That's a very crazy turnaround there for Team CSO, with Team Cryptic actually being on match point after game 4, and Blade luckily enough, you know, with some really good skill and was actually good enough to turn it around for Team CSO and give Team CSO the win. That puts Team CSO 4-1 in victories, with Team Cryptic unfortunately being 1-4 in the standings of Group B, and I think Team CSO will still be in second place in terms of maps won and lost, but yeah, very good games today, and very well done there by Blade for turning it around for Team CSO. I like it to DG France. He had a really good push, really good initial start to the game, with going up to 3 racks and really getting his bio force rolling, but I think taking that engagement just outside the natural of Blade and maybe overextending just a little bit there, losing a little bit too much, is what allowed Blade to gain the momentum and actually, you know, push through and put pressure on that third base. I do wonder if Blade had taken, if DG France had taken the third base on at the more vertical 3 o'clock position, if that might have made a difference in actually being able to hold the push from DG France, or if he overextended a little bit with his Vikings and actually letting the Vikings stay committed to the staying committed to killing the Colossi while the bio was being carted away by the charge lots. I think on the back of that, I mean, pretty good games from everyone today, and well done to Team CSO for taking the 4-3 victory in Season 10 of this Week 5 VTL tournament. So very well done on behalf of everyone, and thanks once again for tuning in. If this is your first time here, please don't forget to give us a follow. It really goes a long way to getting more good quality StarCraft to you guys live every time, and we look forward to you joining us for next week's installment of the VTL. I don't have the fixture for you just yet, but should still be relatively around the same time. If you follow our Twitter page, CSO Esports, there'll be more information on upcoming tournaments and everything there, and yeah, thanks once again for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed the game. Some really good games on the side of both teams, and yeah, good luck for the remaining games for Team Cryptic Gaming.